Hey guys, this is Austin, and today I'm here with Ask Me. So this is a series that I started doing a couple years ago and then kind of stopped, but I'm bringing it back and the idea is really simple. I reached out on Twitter, Facebook, and Google+, and I asked everyone, hey, ask me a question I might answer in a video. So yeah, I already know, but it will be a common question. So why is your channel Duncan33303 if your name is Austin? So yeah, this is definitely the most common question I get all the time. Basically, to put it really simply, when I was about 10, 11 or so, my friend and I first started getting on the internet. And as I'm sure a lot of you guys know, especially back then, very few people actually used their real names. So it was always like some kind of alias, or you always came up with some kind of cool internet name. And so Duncan was mine. And I used it for a while, and it slowly after a time started turning into Duncan33303 since, the name Duncan happened to be taken in a few places on the internet. And so yeah, it's pretty much how it all started. When I created my YouTube channel back in 2007, I had absolutely no idea that I was actually going to make videos. It was just some way for me to, subscribe to people, like videos, comment, all that kind of stuff. But when I did start making videos back in 2009, I already had a channel, so I'm like, oh, okay, I'll throw them up there. Really didn't think anything of it. And after I had posted a few videos and I had like 50 subscribers, I was like, well, wait a minute. I really should, change the name, come up with something better. But I'm like, well, I have 50 subscribers. I mean, I'm clearly never going to get any more than that. I'm not going to throw all these away. Yeah, not really a great decision. What camera and lens do you use? As far as the camera goes, I use a Nikon D600. So this is what I pretty much film all of my videos with, as well as a 24 to 120mm f4 lens, which is a fantastic piece of glass. So this is my baby. I absolutely love this camera. Works really, really well, and I love it a lot. I also use a Sennheiser wireless mic, and my hand is glowing. That's cool. And I also use a Lilliput monitor, so when I'm filming, I can say, hey guys, and actually see if I'm in shot, in focus, all that kind of fun stuff. What do you do with all the computers you build and test? This is a great question because I don't think a lot of people know I actually do build all the computers and I do test them all before I recommend them. So the way I do it to avoid having to spend like $5,000 on computer parts every month is I will say buy whatever parts I need for a specific build. I'll put it together, test it, make sure everything is good, and then when I'm done, I will take all the parts back apart and then just keep them for future builds. So instead of having 50 computers sitting around that I don't really need and are just collecting dust, instead I will just take the parts back apart, and then when I'm doing a new build, I will say, oh, okay, I can use this power supply, I can use this motherboard, whatever, and then I will build the next build, and when I'm done with it, I will tear it down, and that's pretty much how I do it. What performance improvements do you think we will see with the next-gen consoles, and how do the parts stack up to a high-end PC? Since this is the internet, of course there's tons and tons of misinformation about how powerful the PS4 as well as the next Xbox will be. Now, of course, we don't have all the information on the Xbox, but from what I'm hearing, it will be slightly less powerful than the PlayStation 4. But regardless, these are both going to be about mid-range PCs. So at least on the PlayStation 4 side, which we do have some specs for, it will be roughly equivalent to something like a Radeon 7850 as far as on the graphics side. And it does have, of course, an 8-core processor. Now, there are 8 fairly weak cores, but considering that there are 8 of them, all stacked together, they should be pretty powerful. Now, one of the most important things, especially with the PlayStation 4, is that it has 8 GB of GDDR5 memory. Now, this is very fast memory, and it will be serving both the graphics side as well as the CPU side. So all the tech jargon aside, with 8 GB of memory available, this should actually be really impressive for lots of very, very high resolution textures, for big open maps and missions and levels, because there's just so much memory to work with. There's a lot of really cool things that developers can do. So just purely speaking from a spec standpoint, I would say that the PlayStation 4 is probably roughly equivalent to a $600 to $750 gaming PC. However, there are definitely other things just besides the pure specs that could absolutely make it quite a bit more powerful than you would expect. What is your current everyday cell phone? For a while I was using the Note 2, however I recently just switched back over to the Galaxy S3. So the main reason I did this was because I wanted to try out the S3 and kind of remember how it was and kind of get back used to it, because the S4 as well as the HTC One are coming out soon. So I wanted to have a little bit of a benchmark to see how good or bad of an upgrade either of those phones might be. Can you do a video editing PC build? I might be working on something like that. So there you guys go. Of course, if you have any questions, definitely be sure to drop them in the comments below, and who knows, you might just be in the next episode of Ask Me. If you're interested in more, feel free to check out my last video, where we went over a $750 gaming PC build. If you enjoyed, definitely be sure to leave this video a thumbs up, and if you're interested in more like this, be sure to subscribe. Anyway guys, I will catch you next time.